Well, good morning. Welcome to Extra Shot. I'm Julia, along with Dustin here this morning, who is in for Carlos. We're kind of both newcomers to this Extra Shot game, aren't we?
A little new at this game, but it's nice to be here on a Monday morning. Great to have you along with us. Be sure and chime in, say hello, and join the conversation, whether you're joining us on Facebook or the WTHR app. Well, we made it through the weekend. What a mess that was.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy. I know you had baseball games over the weekend, and I went to one on Friday night. No storms, just hot as could be, but much different story in some parts. Like, in fact, OWEN County is one of the many places here in central Indiana that was hit hard by storms this weekend. In fact, they're still in the cleanup process, probably will be for a while. The sheriff in OWEN County is asking people just to be patient as they work to clear and repair roads over the next few days, even weeks. They say the county got 10 inches of rain, which has caused a lot of damage, as you're seeing here. The county, in fact, has declared a local disaster and a travel watch, meaning only travel for emergency is recommended right now. The sheriff says, thankfully, there were no serious injuries. He says rescue teams and volunteers worked together, though, to save some people, including a family with a very small child that was trapped in their van.
Water, running through the van. And they got there and they did a phenomenal job. One of the best, as far as I'm concerned, the best rescue team that anybody could have on hand. They did a phenomenal job. They got the people out, got them to safety.
Sheriff Sam Hobbs there says more roads are totally gone, some just completely washed away. And that's really why they're saying, give them time, because if you still see some high water, you don't really know what you're up against.
Yeah, that was just some incredible images there, and so grateful to the first responders and the emergency workers.
Yeah, because they're the ones that, even when it's beyond dangerous, they're the ones going out there, and they have to go out.
And that's why they say every time, hey, if you see high water where you can't see the pavement, you don't know what's under there, you don't know how fast it's going, so please turn. We've heard it before. Turn around, don't drown, because time after time, every time we see people venture out in there and get stuck, and then not only are they endangering themselves, but they're endangering the first responders who have to respond.
Well, another problem after Friday's storms, really all the hail damage, right?
Absolutely. Thousands of people still dealing with that right now. So these are some images. I believe this is from a woman who was visiting Indy from North Manchester over the weekend, and she ended up, their car got dinged up. This was from a restaurant up north in Fishers. The president of Hoosier Contractors says getting a fix doesn't.
Size of hail.
Oh, I know.
That's
Look at that, the size of a baseball. You can see the damage to your car. It's a little harder to see the damage to your roof, and getting a fix doesn't have to be difficult. So the recommendation here is to first make sure you have a qualified person come out and survey the damage if you think you had damage to your home. It should be a restoration contractor and not just a roofing contractor. And they also say it can be, as I mentioned, easy to see damage on your car. Tricky on your roof, though. That's why they suggest having an inspection done as soon as possible. And a lot of these companies do this for free, including Hoosier Contractors. Take a listen.
If you don't get it taken care of properly, it can cost you a lot more, and not just in money, but in headache. I can't express enough that you want to get a good inspection.
So on Friday, Hoosier Contractors, that company there, they got more than 1,200 phone calls, and I'm sure they've been busy ever since,
gosh,
right?
We had hail damage at our home one time, and we did have an inspector come out, and it was actually a little bit after the fact because we'd noticed some problems, and just because they were able to record knowing when this one particular storm had gone through, and then the damage, they were like, yep, you had hail damage from, and they could pinpoint what storm because they had others in the neighborhood and everything. So
Karen Campbell did a great job this morning helping us out with that kind of information, and also some other ways that you can save money potentially in terms of getting your house or your car fixed. That's online at WTHR.com if you want to take a look.
Windows are typically always, covered with your insurance.
So. I'm just looking, I'm keeping track of comments here. I asked if anybody saw any damage where they had. Bruce says, had some limbs, nothing major, not much in New Pal, Brian said. Judy said there were a lot of people still here in Bloomington. They say it may be midnight tonight before it will be back on. I assume the power. I know we had tens of thousands of people Saturday morning in the dark. Most of them in the southwest part of Indiana, but it sounds like some of you in Bloomington are still without power this morning.
We saw that video, you know, out of downtown Bloomington.
Water.
Yeah,
Incredible.
cars just kind of floating. People were inside one of the bars down there, Kilroy's, and that's where I could not believe that video. I am a very hard sleeper, especially on the weekend. I slept through everything. I mean, we got a lot of heavy rain, and some of our flowers I could see were pounded down a little bit, but that's about all we got.
Well, and then I don't know if you saw, we showed images over the weekend. Julie was sleeping, so she didn't. But
For sure.
Of a tornado in Jay County that did some decent damage there in that area, and the National Weather Service, no doubt, investigating to find out the strength of that tornado. But thankfully, we didn't hear of anybody getting injured, which really is incredible when you look at the damage that was done in that area.
And widespread, Well, happening in just about an hour, Rokerthon. I'm like, what am I saying? It's Rokerthon is back. Al Roker, of course. So this is the 5th anniversary. This is the relay's 10th attempt at the Guinness World Record title for most people in online weather reporting. Over 60 NBC stations and colleges from across the country are joining Al, from beaches, rooftops, stadiums, and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That is right. In their neck of the woods is back and even better than before. Our own Chuck Lofton, he left a little bit early. He's headed out to the Speedway right now to kick off that live why can I not say it?
Rokerthon.
Rokerthon. Thank you. I want to say rocker.
It looks like Rokerthon.
So Chuck said look for him about 8:35.
Yeah, 8:35.
But he said he's done this many times before, and you know, some things don't necessarily always go as planned.
They're aiming for seamless, but you know, when you have more than 60 stations involved and you're going for the world record,
that's kind of cool,
sometimes
right?
It gets a little bumpy. I can't imagine the logistics that were involved in gathering that many people for.
And Chuck was telling us as he was heading out, they're still trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
So
bear with them.
Yeah, bear with them. But Chuck said he's going to focus on like our summer outlook for the forecast, and so that's what you'll see from our little Chuck Lofton.
And speaking of Chuck and the Speedway, we had such a great Indy 500 this year. Not only because people were allowed back in the stands, but also because of the weather. Oh my goodness.
The morning, so this was the first one in, I bet, 20 years that I have not been out to the Motor Speedway on race day. And I am so glad because remember didn't they say it was the coldest one in 70 years?
Yeah, I believe it was 70 years.
Were you out there?
I was outside.
Yeah, you were with Jalea, that's right.
Jalea had a winter coat on and gloves, and I got her a hat.
Poor little Jalea. She's from Georgia, right?
Yeah, we keep telling her it's going to warm up. See, Jalea, it did warm up finally, but not at the day of the 500. It was great for racing, though. And also, we are talking about this because we are already looking forward to next year's Indy 500. Here's the important reminder. Today is the deadline to renew your ticket. So if you're a ticket holder, the deadline is today, and you should have gotten a phone call about it or an email about it. And anybody who knows anything about the 500 knows that these tickets are passed down. You know, from generation to generation. That's how you work your way up to the great seats. And if you don't renew your tickets, you lose them and they go to somebody else who's next on the list.
So today, get it done today. Well, I hope it was a great Father's Day. I know you said you had a great day on the baseball fields where you needed to be because of the kiddos. Well, a lot of dads said, take me out to the ball game. The Indianapolis Indians. I think this is a great idea.
Yeah, I love this.
So they had a special going on for Father's Day. Kids 14 and under, they got to eat free, which is perfect for families. But they were also able to buy this Father's Day package where Dad could play post-game catch on the field with their kids. I love this.
Great.
A day at the ballpark together, families say, was just the best.
Now that I have kids, you know, you appreciate the holiday more, but it's always great to have, you know, my dad still around and appreciate him even more.
Today's Father's Day, right? What'd you guys do for Dad?
This is what we're doing. Yeah, we went to the baseball game is really what we're doing.
Gosh, that is
That's the
that is the
soundbite of the day.
absolute best sound, because it's like, they're looking at him, they're like, this, you dummy. This is what
Why
we're
else would we
doing.
be here?
Why would we be here? I love that. All right, so what a game they got to see, by the way. The Indy Indians won in extra innings, 8-7 over Memphis.
I know
So-
whoever was interviewing those, because I know what they were trying to do. It's
I
hard
do
to get
too.
kids
I do too.
To interact with you, because you're a stranger and you
And
put
you
a
would
microphone
never
in their
expect
face.
them to get
Right, but I
that.
love their response. Well, what do you
Yes.
think? We're a baseball game.
All right. Well, this has been fun.
Yeah.
You're going to be with me on Sunrise
That's right.
the next 2 days as well. So we might be doing this the next 2 days as well. So thanks for being with us. Hope you had fun. Hope you got a little something extra out of it here today.
And we'll do it again tomorrow. Have a great Monday.